Excellent results, but still much to be done, just like the rest of the continent. It's a permanent endeavor, long-standing endeavor. So much has been achieved. We have created an institution with so much to say about it. We have been able to bring to the knowledge of policy advisors the need to emphasize trade and the little industrialization that is needed to support that trade or to feed that trade. The need to look deep into Africa itself for its own resources to support that trade. And our interaction with policymakers, our interaction with bankers, operators in the field, our interaction with manufacturers, light manufacturers, does tell us that more than before, everyone is gaining tremendous consciousness of the need for that trade, and proof of it at the policy level is the free trade, the Continental Free Trade Agreement that was signed recently in Rwanda.
Now, conversations here have centered on essentially powering Africa through regional trade integration, with the AfCFTA at the heart of it, like you mentioned. Now, in an era where the world is focusing on borderline protectionism, trade wars going on with retaliations across continents, does that raise any question for you with regards to Africa now trying to open its borders, break down the walls, so to speak, as far as trade is concerned, which is essentially the essence of the AfCFTA?
Open the borders to itself. That's fine. But opening the borders to the outside world, again, that has to be done selectively with some wisdom. It's done to advantage. But to the extent that the AfCFTA is dealing with opening the African borders to African countries within Africa, that's welcome. That's extremely welcome, so that the trade can take place between the African countries to start with before we embrace the wider world.
To what extent would you say the provisions of the trade agreement pays attention to the specific needs of countries within the African region?
Some countries have already made some progress in light industrialization. South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria to some extent in the sub-regional blocks, maybe Cote d'Ivoire in West Africa, Kenya so much so in East Africa, Cameroon to some extent in the Central African sub-regional unit. Those ones are now prepared, they are ready to export to the others. So that is well covered well addressed in the Continental Free Trade Agreement. That freedom that it gives to be able to take those products across the borders from areas where there is some level of industry to areas where there isn't, so that the competition within those then generates, even from the areas where there isn't some light manufacturing and the capacity to produce to maybe something else to supply, is something which we find extremely useful.
Of 55 countries in the bloc now, the AfCFTA has a recorded agreement from 49 of them.
That's right.
South Africa being the latest to sign at the
Correct.
last AU summit.
Yes.
I know the South African president said no pressure.
Yes.
But we still have Nigeria outstanding, Zambia also, and a couple of others.
Correct.
Is there pressure?
There shouldn't be, really. We should be celebrating the 49 who have signed, not the 5, 6, or 10 who haven't. So,
2 of which are major.
Again, Egypt is a major partner, it's a major actor in the African trade, so it's South Africa. Egypt, South Africa have signed, Angola has signed, Algeria has signed, Kenya has signed. Those are big trading countries in the continent. So we think, just like the president of South Africa said yesterday, we think the others would join.
Is the Afrexim Bank
no
making
pressure.
any moves to maybe further communications with them?
We always take the opportunity. You could imagine that we meet the officials at various levels, we do take the opportunity to emphasize the need for that African movement towards a free trading area. And the leaders probably don't say so in public. They're extremely sensitive to it, for they know the values. What else would it be? Just think about Nigeria. It has every benefit to join. It's, in manufacturing terms, a lot more advanced than all the states around it. So there's plenty of light manufacturing trade from Nigeria, from products, petroleum products, plastics, utensils of all sorts which are moving from Nigeria to those neighboring countries. And therefore it stands to Nigerian benefit that this trade is made official rather than go informal, because everyone is avoiding barriers of all sorts, tariffs, customs of other nature, that this trade comes up to the open.